Denver, runway 17L. The pilots say 4 words into the radio.
We just hit somebody. We have an engine fire.
Then they report an engine fire. The aircraft is still decelerating on runway 17L when smoke begins entering the cabin. It is 11:19 p.m. on May 8, 2026, and Frontier Airlines Flight 4345 is in its takeoff roll at Denver International Airport, an Airbus A321. 224 passengers, 7 crew, Los Angeles. The aircraft is accelerating through approximately 146 miles per hour when it makes contact with something on the runway. The pilots abort immediately. Someone has climbed the perimeter fence of Denver International Airport in the dark and walked out onto an active runway. Thermal footage released by local station KDVR shows the person scaling the barbed wire fence and walking directly into the path of the aircraft. From the moment they clear the fence to the moment of impact, 2 minutes. The person is at least partially consumed by the engine, causing a fire. Denver Fire Department responds and extinguishes it. Inside the cabin, passengers describe the moment of impact, a sound, then smoke, then a flight attendant telling them to evacuate.
Go!
The emergency slides deploy. People land on the runway in the dark. 12 passengers sustain minor injuries. 5 are taken to hospital. The identity of the person on the runway has not been confirmed, not an airport employee. The FAA and the NTSB have opened investigations. And look, bro, that person climbed the fence to get there, right? The next man? He had a job to do, and his colleagues killed him. Ravi Subramanian. It's December 16th, 2015. Mumbai. The pilots are running an hour late. The engines spool up before the ground crew is clear. And this guy over here? Ravi Subramanian. He's standing with his back to the intake, wearing headphones and obviously not hearing what's coming. Subramanian is an experienced Air India ground technician, supervising the crew preparing Flight 619, an Airbus A321 bound for Hyderabad, from his position near the landing gear. In the cockpit, the captain and co-pilot are behind schedule and, in the words of the subsequent investigation, in a tearing hurry. They mistake a signal from the ground and power up the engines. 4 personnel are still inside the ingestion radius. 3 of them see it and get clear. Subramanian, facing the other way, headphones on, does not. The suction pulls him backward. Death is instantaneous. The physical damage is so severe that a standard post-mortem examination cannot be conducted. The Aircraft Accident Investigation Bureau places blame on the flight crew. Both pilots are arrested and charged with causing death by negligence. The finding is not that a system failed. It is that 2 men in a hurry started their engines while people were still in the zone they are trained, specifically and repeatedly, to clear. Kyler Efinger. The security footage runs for just under 30 minutes. At the start of it, Kyler Efinger is trying locked doors. At the end of it, he is inside the engine cowling of a Delta aircraft, his dreadlocked hair pulled into the rotating fan blades, causing, well, you know. If police had found him 30 seconds earlier, he'd still be alive. It is New Year's Day 2024, and Efinger is 30 years old, scheduled to fly from Salt Lake City to Denver to visit a sick grandfather. He has lived with bipolar disorder for a decade. At some point in the terminal, a manic episode takes hold. A store manager reports that he is behaving strangely, barefoot, shouting, demanding a refund for a jersey he just bought. Staff see him lying on his stomach on the handrail of a moving walkway. He tries locked gate door after locked gate door. At 9:52 p.m., he finds an emergency exit that opens. An alarm goes off. Police are dispatched. Dispatchers send them to gate A31. Efinger exited near gate A4. The information is corrected to A22. That is also wrong. One officer on the radio describes the search as a wild goose chase. For the next 10 minutes, Efinger is somewhere in the dark outside the terminal. He has no shoes. It is January in Utah. He walks nearly a mile to the area where aircraft are being de-iced. At 10:07 p.m., a Delta Airbus A321 finishes being de-iced and is given clearance to taxi. Its engines start. The pilot notices a figure running toward the aircraft and begins to brake. He cannot stop in time. Efinger reaches the aircraft and climbs into the engine cowling. His dreadlocked hair is pulled into the rotating blades. The cause of death is blunt head trauma. Officers pull him from the cowling and attempt CPR. He is pronounced dead at the scene. Jermani Thompson. Belt loaders sit on every airport ramp, running constantly, so familiar to the people who work around them that they stop registering as machinery with moving parts. They are just the thing that moves the bags. It is around 10 p.m. on August 30th, 2022, and Jermani Thompson, 26 years old, is working a night shift at Louis Armstrong New Orleans International Airport, unloading bags from a Frontier Airlines aircraft. 100 ordinary movements, the kind of shift that ends, for most people, with a drive home. Instead, her hair becomes caught in the belt loader's conveyor mechanism. The machine does not stop. It does not register the difference between a bag and a person. It keeps running at exactly the speed it always runs, doing what it is designed to do. Thompson is taken to hospital and pronounced dead. The specific injuries are not detailed in public reporting. What is documented is the mechanism, entanglement, and the machine's failure to stop. Gayleen McEwan. The signs are fixed to the fence in capital letters.
Jet blast of departing and arriving aircraft can cause severe physical harm, resulting in extreme bodily harm and/or death.
Gayleen McEwan can read them from where she is standing. So can everyone else holding the fence beside her. Maho Beach on St. Martin sits at the end of runway 10 of Princess Juliana International Airport, separated from the airfield by a low fence and a narrow road. Tourists come specifically to hold that fence against the jet blast of departing planes. Yes, seriously. The TripAdvisor reviews mention the signs. They also mention that holding the fence is the whole point. It is around 6 p.m. on July 12, 2017. Gayleen McEwan is 57 years old, a hotel owner from New Zealand, on holiday with her husband and 2 friends. A Boeing 737 spools up to full thrust, brakes on, before rolling. When it reaches full power, the blast hits the fence. The tourists around McEwan hold on. She holds on. Then her grip gives way. She is thrown backward across the road. The back of her head strikes a concrete block. She dies shortly after reaching hospital. It is the first documented death by jet blast at Maho Beach. Donovan Thater. Donovan Thater is 19 years old and has been working at Seattle-Tacoma International Airport for 1 month. It is late in the evening of May 19th, 2000. Thater and 2 co-workers are taking a load of late bags to Alaska Flight 191, waiting at the gate with 140 passengers and 5 crew aboard. The job is one he has done dozens of times in his 4 weeks on the ramp. Drive the cart to the aircraft, step off, open the cargo door, load the bags. He steps off the vehicle to open the cargo door. The cart moves forward. It pins him between the vehicle and the fuselage of the aircraft. The combined weight leaves no room for anything. Investigators later examine whether a bag slid from the seat and triggered the vehicle's movement, or whether the parking brake was not fully set. Either way, the cart moves. He is between it and the plane, and there is nothing to absorb the impact. A flight attendant and the first officer on Alaska 191 hear the emergency below and come down immediately. They try to revive him on the tarmac. He dies on the way to Harborview Medical Center. He had been on the job for 1 month. He was 19.